That's a department of the...
Hop in that puddle jumper and cut mud out of here.
But I only want to talk about Mr. Clampetts' return.
He ain't going nowhere. And if you keep hanging around here, you ain't going nowhere neither.
Now, see here, madam, I insist. I'll be back.
I'll be waiting.
What's all the ruckus, Granny? Who was that?
That blame revenuer.
Sure?
Came right out and admitted it himself.
Well, we don't want no trouble with the law. And besides, you said you were going to stop running your still.
I ain't been. But I don't want no revenuers snooping around. They're the lowest form of varmints. Even he was ashamed of being one.
What?
Called it the Infernal Revenue Service.
Internal Revenue Service?
That's right.
Well, sit down, sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Well, now, it's a pleasure to have you visit my struggling little bank. Right?
You?
There we are. Yes, it's always a pleasure to see you splendid chaps from the Internal Revenue Service. You know, I was just talking to my taxman yesterday. Aspirin?
No. Mr. Drysdale, I'm not here to talk about your income tax return.
You're not?
No. But your taxman did handle the return for Mr. J.D. Clampett, right?
Oh, yes, Mr. Clampett is my largest depositor. Wonderful man, salt of the earth, honest as a day is long. Lovely family.
Mr. Drysdale, I was just fired on by a member of that lovely family.
Fired on, you mean shot at?
With a double-barrel 12-gauge shotgun. Wielded expertly by a little old lady no bigger than this.
Granny. Oh, Mr. Landman, you have to understand these people.
Oh, I understood her fine. What I don't understand is this. How can a man show an income of millions for last year and not one red penny for all the years previous?
Oh, well, I can explain that.
Well, the Treasury Department will appreciate it.
Now, this is the beautiful mansion you just visited, right?
Well, I would hardly call it a visit. Skirmish might be a better word. This is the house, yes.
And Mr. Landman, would you believe that 8 months ago they lived here?
No, frankly, I wouldn't.
I give you my word. The poorest, most uninformed people imaginable. Like when an oil company tried to explore their swamp, old Jed's daughter hit him with a rock. Thought he was a revenuer.
What you got there?
Stranger,
Where'd you get him?
I beamed him with a rock.
What for?
He was skulking around down by the slough. Figured he might be a revenuer.
He ain't no revenuer.
Then can I keep him?
Of course not.
Well, I caught him.
Don't matter.
Well, he won't be no trouble. I could keep him out in the smokehouse.
Ellie Mae, you can't keep people like they were dogs and cats.
Who's that?
Some feller Ellie found nosing around.
Beamed him with a rock so it'd be easier to tote.
They're fellas from the petroleum company.
What's a petroleum?
I don't know. He asked me if he could do some wildcatting down by the slough. I said, help yourself. We're glad to get rid of the critters.
What he said?
Just kind of laughed. The last on him, there ain't no wildcats down there at that slough.
Heck no. It's too full of oil.
Are you trying to tell me they didn't know oil was valuable?
Even when the oil company geologists told them, they didn't understand.
Mr. Clampett, that swamp of yours is full of oil.
I could have told you that.
Well, my company would like to pump it out.
Yeah, I like that too, but I just can't afford to have it done.
Oh, no, you don't understand. You see, you wouldn't have to pay for it.
Oh, I don't take favors from strangers.
No, Mr. Clampett, you see, you're a very rich man.
Stranger, if money was skunk oil, a hound dog couldn't smell me.
It's your swamp. My company will buy that land. Why, they'll raise so many derricks down there that...
Son, I gotta be honest with you, you couldn't raise turnips down there.
He's right. That ground looks black and rich. But it's so greasy you can just squeeze the oil out of it.
But that's what my company wants.
Maybe you better sit down for a spell.
Why, even after Mr. Clampett sold his swamp, he didn't know how much money he'd gotten until his cousin Pearl heard the news and came rushing over.
Stop this thing! Stop it! Hold on! Heaven protect us! Did they hit us, kid?
Oh, but I think they sure warmed the chicken house.
Jed, I'm sure sorry about the chicken house, but nobody got hurt.
Jeffro, I told you to get rid of them worn-out brakes.
I did, Ma. That's how come we ain't got none.
Get on out and lift the chicken house back on its foundation.
Jed?
Yeah.
Jed, Ellie Mae came running over to my place, and she said you sold the swamp to some oil company.
Well, yeah, I guess I did.
What did they pay you for it?
Well, he ain't paid me nothing yet. The Brewster fella said he'd bring the money later.
How much they going to pay you?
Well, he said that'd depend some on how much oil they could pump out.
Well, he must have mentioned some figure. What was it?
Well, now, Pearl, you know that old swamp ain't worth shucks.
Jed Clampett, you got slickered and you're ashamed to admit it.
That's just what I told him.
Granny, how much they gonna pay him?
All right, I'll tell you. He said it runs somewhere between 25 and 100.
25 and 100?
I know it don't sound like much, but Mr. Brewster seemed to set great store by the fact he's going to pay me in some new kind of dollar.
There ain't no new kind of dollars.
Well, it's new to me. I've heard of gold dollars, silver dollars, paper dollars, but he says he's going to pay me in, what do you call them, Granny?
$1 million.
Yeah, that's it.
$1 million?
Well, he wrote the whole thing out on this piece of paper. Here, you can see for yourself. I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff.
Let's see here. Thanks in heaven. Granny, give me the jug.
It's empty, but I'll fetch some.
I'll go, Granny.
Jed, you're a millionaire. A millionaire.
Yeah, that's what that Brewster fella kept calling me. I didn't know just how to take it.
You meant you're rich.
Me?
The richest man in these hills. Maybe in the whole state. Oh, Jed, you can have anything you want. Do anything you want. Go any place you want.
Yeah, that's another thing he kept saying. He said he reckoned I'd be moving away from here soon. What do you think, Pearl? You think I ought to move?
Jed, how can you even ask? Look around you. You're 8 miles from your nearest neighbor. You're overrun with skunks, possums, coyotes, bobcats. You use kerosene lamps for light. You cook on a wood stove, summer and winter. You're drinking homemade moonshine, washing with homemade lye soap. And your bathroom is 50 feet from the house, and you ask should you move?
Yeah, I reckon you're right. Man, be a dang fool to leave all this.
You know, Mr. Drysdale, in the Internal Revenue Service, we hear some pretty wild stories. But this corn pone to caviar saga of Jed Clampett tops everything.
Well, if you think it's been unbelievable so far, wait till you hear the rest of it.
What I can't understand is how a man so insulated from the rest of the world ever heard about Beverly Hills, California.
I can explain that in 2 words. Cousin Pearl. She's the one who had her sights set on California.
Oh, there you are, Jed. You misunderstood me. I meant you should move away. And you know where I'd go if I was you?
Where?
California.
California?
Yes, sir. Beverly Hills, California. I hear tell it's full of millionaires out there. And movie stars, too.
In what?
Movie stars. Jed, remember the time that your pa took us to Eureka Springs to see the movie picture?
Yeah.
Well, the actors that make them movie pictures live in Beverly Hills.
Go on.
Yes, sir.
Well, doggy. Wouldn't that be something? living in the same neck of the woods with old Tom Mix.
That sure would. And we could come visit you.
Yes, it was Cousin Pearl who planted the idea of moving to Beverly Hills, but it was Mr. Brewster who made it possible.
Who's he?
Vice president of the oil company that bought Mr. Clampetts' land. Yes, Brewster's often told me the story of that fateful evening.
Well, your cousin is right about that, Mr. Clampett. Beverly Hills is a choice residential area, and lots of millionaires do settle there.
Folks like me, huh?
Well, millionaires.
And movie stars, too.
Oh, yeah.
Is Tom Mix there?
No, I'm afraid Mr. Mix is dead.
Oh? Oh, yeah. Oh, what's the matter with me? Remember Pearl? He got shot at the end of that picture.
Well, there are plenty other movie stars, and that's where Jed wants to live. Ain't it, Jed?
I do like the notion of living in the hills. Never could stand flat country.
Mr. Clampett, I think it only fair. That is, well, I think you may have a wrong idea about Beverly Hills.
Is that where you live?
No, my home is in Tulsa.
Well, say, maybe you could get us a place there in your neighborhood.
Mr. Clampett, let's not beat around the bush. You will love Beverly Hills.
Then that's it. Can you steer Jed onto a good place?
No, I can get the bank out there to handle it for him.
He'd like a nice big place with plenty of room for his kinfolk to visit him.
Is the foreigner staying for supper?
I'm ashamed to say I ain't asked him. How about it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, no trouble. What you cooking tonight, Granny?
Mustard greens and possum innards.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that, Mr. Brewster?
Very clearly.
Change your mind?
Not this time.
Well, if you should happen to come back tomorrow, we'll be having leftovers. That's the thing about possum innards. They's just as good the second day.
What a family. So anyway, they packed up and came to Beverly Hills.
Well, it wasn't quite that simple. Mr. Clampett had his problems.
With $25 million, he had problems?
Ah, yes. The first one was his daughter. She didn't want to leave her friends.
Friends? And I thought they lived in a completely unpopulated area.
They did. Her friends were not the kind you and I have.
Now, I ain't gonna be here to look after you no more. So you're gonna have to keep yourself out of trouble. Watch out for them coyotes and them bobcats and them hunters with guns. Stay out of folks' gardens, because you know how it riles up Granny when you get in hers. Excepting when we're gone, you can have everything that's left. I'm sorry there ain't gonna be room enough on the truck to take you along. But maybe you wouldn't like California anyhow. Maybe I ain't gonna like it either. If I don't, then I'm a-coming hightailing it right back here, and me and you'll set up housekeeping all by ourselves.
Ellie? Ellie Mae?
Yeah, Paul, over here.
You feeling all right, Ellie? You didn't eat your supper.
Sure, Paul. I just wasn't hungry.
Cold? You're shaking like a sumac leaf.
Oh, Paul, I ain't cold. I'm scared.
Scared? Why? There ain't nothing in this woods can hurt you, even in the dark.
It ain't the woods or the dark. It's going so far away. I don't know what it's going to be like out there in Beverly Hills.
Why, it's going to be just like here. Except we'll have things a lot nicer.
Will I go to school and wear fancy dresses like city girls and put powder on my face and get my hair all fixed up in one of them there beauty parlors?
Why, sure you will.
Then I ain't going.
I want you to meet the Clampetts under different circumstances. You'll find them to be really charming people.
Including Granny?
Oh, yes. This time you'll get a completely different reception. I promise you.
Ellie Mae! You sound the alarm if you see that revenue man coming.
I will, Granny.
I'll blast him before he gets through that gate.
Of course, even after Mr. Clampett convinced his daughter to leave her animal friends, he still had Granny to contend with.
I guess she didn't like the notion of being uprooted.
That's putting it mildly. The way he tells it, she just downright refused to budge.
Now, what's all this nonsense about you ain't going to California?
Ain't no nonsense to it. If the good Lord had wanted me in California, he'd have put me in California.
Maybe he's just getting around to it. Book says he moves in mysterious ways.
Well, if he moves me, I'll go. But you and Big Jethro ain't a-budging me.
Granny, this here Beverly Hills sounds like the kind of place you'd like. That preacher fella says they got smogs out there.
What's a smog?
Well, me and Jethro figured out that's a small hog. And you heard what Pearl said. It ain't got no snow out there. You could run your still year-round.
Run it the year round here.
Yeah, but walking down through the snow to the still always makes you feel so miserable.
I might feel miserable walking down. But the way I feels coming back makes up for it.
Hey, Granny. We've been planning and talking about this trip for days. You never said you wouldn't go.
Never said I wouldn't either.
But that Brewster feller has bought us a house in them Beverly Hills. He sent our $25 million to the bank out there.
Well, you just chase on out after it. I'm staying right here. And I ain't afeared neither.
Granny, I ain't leaving you here alone.
And I ain't a-budging out of this rocker.
Let her roll, Jethro.
Only a man of Jed Clampett's strength and authority could have handled Granny.
He'll be there when we get to the Clampett place, won't he?
Oh, sure, you have nothing to worry about. There's the entrance up ahead.
Yes, I know.
There's a car stopping at the gate, Granny.
They closed the gate since I left.
I'll get it. You know, this reminds me of an experience I had when the Clampetts first moved in. I was leaving and found the gates closed. Hello. Hello. Mr. Clampett, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good, good. I need your help.
Sounds like you're inside the wall.
I am. Would you let me out, please?
Well, you bet I will. You stay right where you are. I'll get me an axe and have you out of there in no time.
He demolished 10 feet of wall before I could stop him.
Granny, Mr. Drysdale's opening the gate.
Good. He's leading that revenuer right into a trap.
We ain't gonna shoot nobody.
He ain't nobody. Revenuers and buzzards don't count.
You go on inside and cook up some victuals.
Since when is a revenuer company?
Mr. Clampett, I'd like you to meet Mr. Latin.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Clampett.
How do you do, Mr. Landman? Since you're a friend of Mr. Drysdale's here, I reckon you're welcome. But as you can see, we don't cut the revenuers.
I'm not a revenuer, Mr. Clampett. I guess back in the hills where you come from, I'd be a tax collector.
Back in the hills where I come from, you'd be a lot younger.
Oh? Was the climate that healthy?
Oh, it's just you wouldn't have lived to get this old.
Ed, is the revenuer staying to supper?
He ain't no revenuer.
Well, is the foreigner staying to supper?
How about it, Mr. Landman? You too, Mr. Drysdale.
You're not by any chance cooking mustard greens and possum innards, are you?
Not tonight.
Oh, we had them last night.
I'll stay.
Me too.
Tonight we is having leftovers.
That's the thing about possum innards. It's just as good the second day.
puniest greens I ever did see.
What you mumbling about, Granny?
A body can't find no greens in these Beverly Hills. I've been out all morning. All I got was a scraggly handful of rhubarb leaves. That hole might have had 2 bushels. Collard, mustard.
Well, let's simmer down, Granny. Maybe Jethro and me will bring you back some greens from the country today.
Ooh, you going shooting?
Yep, Mr. Drysdale asked Jethro and me to go out with him and another fella.
Hey, what are you going to shoot? Some more of them skeet?
Oh, no. Today we're going to be shooting game.
Oh, praise be. We can use some fresh meat. Try and get a possum or a squirrel.
Well, according to Mr. Drysdale, we're going to be shooting some game called golf.
In tarnation is a golf.
Well, I don't rightly know, Granny, but they must be thicker than crows in a corn patch around here, because Mr. Drysdale says everybody in Beverly Hills shoots them.
I ain't never seen no strange critters running around. They must live in holes in the ground like a gopher.
Yeah, I reckon maybe you're right. Just the other day, I heard him say he shot 9 holes of golf and got 57.
There must be a mess of them to a hole.
Paul, look at all the stuff Mr. Drysdale sent over for you.
What's that, Melanie?
Well, these here's what you call golf bags.
Doggy. Sure is a heap fancier than a gunny sack for toting game.
You know something, Jed? Them golfs must be about gopher size. If Mr. Drysdale can get 57 of them in one of these.
Golfs ain't nothing like gophers, Granny. Them things can fly.
Fly?
Golfs?
Yes, sir, Uncle Jed. Mr. Drysdale said the fellow we shooting with today, what's his name again, Ellie?
Oh, Mr. Durocher. Mr. Leo Durocher.
Yeah, well, anyway, he got 4 birdies yesterday.
Golfs must be mighty funny-looking critters. Fly like a bird and live in the ground like a gopher.
Well, Mr. Durocher knows how to get them rascals. He shot 32.
He just ain't in it with Mr. Drysdale. He shot 57.
Well, the only thing I know is that them rascals is sure hard to kill. After you shoot them, you gotta club them.
The dickens you say?
Why, Granny? The big boxes are just full of golf clubs.
Look at this, Uncle Jed.
That's a wicked-looking knob on this club. You could brain a bear with that.
You think that one's wicked? Look at this one. That knob is solid iron.
Oh, here's something else Mr. Drysdale sent over to us. He said we're supposed to wear these things when we shoots golfs.
Hey, doggies, Jethro, them golfs must be the toughest little critters there is. First you shoot them, then you club them, then you stomp them with spikes.
That ain't all. Miss Jane says to me, she says, when your Pa and Jethro go out to shoot, tell them to watch out for the traps.
Traps, too? Ooh, I can't wait to tangle with one of them golfs. For pure scrappiness, they must make a mountain lion look like a pussycat.
That's the truth, Uncle Jed. But they come right at you. You gotta dodge them and duck them. We got the fella to show us how.
Who's that?
Mr. Durocher. Miss Jane says he's a famous dodger.
Yes, sir. He's so good, he coaches all the other dodgers.
Well, doggy, I can't wait to meet Mr. Durocher.
Come on, let's go. Have a little life. I want to talk to you, kid. Let me ask you something. Why don't you sign with the Dodgers, the happy team, where winning friends is a lot more important than winning ball games?
Yeah, you sure won a lot of friends in San Francisco last season.
Got a great sense of humor, you have. Also a great pitching arm. Well, what do you say? You ready to sign with us?
Sure.
Great.
As soon as you top the $50,000 bonus offer the Giants made me.
50. Are you still considering the Giants?
Why not?
Why not? You can't pitch in Candlestick Park. That wind will blow you right off the mound.
Don't worry, that $50,000 will hold me down.
You like money, huh?
Love it.
You like golf?
Not as much as money.
Sign with us, and you can have both. You know who I'm playing golf with today?
Who?
Bank president and a millionaire.
So what does that do for me?
What does it do for you? The millionaire, if you sign with us and the millionaire's a Dodger fan, he may set you up in business.
What's his name?
There are so many Dodger fans that are millionaires, I can't keep track of all of them.
I just as soon talk on the golf courses here.
Attaboy.
Sure wish Mr. Drysdale would hurry and pick us up. These clubs is getting awful heavy.
You know something, Jethro? We can tote them clubs in these bags.
But you said them bags was for toting golfs.
Until we get the golf so we can tote the clubs in them.
Golly, Uncle Jed, that's a good idea.
Come on. Funny nobody ever thought of that before.
Paul, Miss Jane just called from the bank. She said Mr. Drysdale couldn't shoot golfs with you today. He's got a big business meeting.
Oh, shucks, I was counting on it.
Me too. Well, I'll tell you what, Jethro, let's load up the truck and we go over there and we shoot some with Mr. DeRocher.
Okay, Uncle Jed.
Now, you tell Granny that I don't know when we get back, but we'll bring her some fresh cut greens.
Okay, Paul.
Howdy there. Is this the place where they shoot the golf?
You fellas gardeners?
Oh, Uncle Jed is. He's the best there is.
Well, Jethro's right-handed, too.
You here to take care of the greens?
As a matter of fact, we did promise to cut some greens, yeah.
Park it around in the back and ask for the greenskeeper.
Thank you very kindly.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jethro, I think you're right about them golfs being birds.
I was?
Yeah, when I come out here, I seen some people take 2 little white eggs out of that hole over yonder.
Well, I hope we get us some.
I think I got this golf shooting figured out, too. I've been watching, and this whole pasture's full of people knocking them little eggs along the ground.
Oh, yeah?
Now, the way I got it figured, when a golf comes out of his hole to get his eggs back, you shoot him.
I think you have got it figured out, Uncle Jed.
Hey, this young fella got himself a whopper, ain't he?
Hey, where'd you get that, little fella?
Mr. DeRocher gave it to me, and he signed it, too.
Is Mr. DeRocher here?
Right over there on that bench. If you ask him, he might give you one, too.
Well, thanks, Sonny. Come on, Jethro.
Great game you arranged, Leo. The bank president canceled, the millionaire didn't show up, and we can't get a caddy.
I talked to the starter. He's going to give us the first 2 that come in.
Look, I got to catch a plane to San Francisco tonight, Leo.
Look, kid, I told you. Forget about San Francisco. The Dodgers are the greatest...
Mr. DeRocher here?
Right here.
Well, Mr. Drysdale can't come, but me and Jethro would like to go along with you, if that's all right.
Oh, it's great. See, I told you we'd get caddies. Now, whose bags are those?
Oh, Mr. Drysdale sent them over.
Look, put them right over there in the rack. Take ours.
Oh, thank you very kindly. That's mighty neighborly of you.
Oh, I've seen some seedy-looking caddies in my day. They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel at this club.
Well, let's give them a break. You know, Walshy, I think these fellas could use a few bucks.
All right, I'm game.
Reckon we ought to take our guns, Uncle Jed?
They seem to want us to use their stuff. Reckon we ought to oblige them.
Whomp it, mister!
Look, fellas, no talking while he's swinging. Holy cow, what a drive.
All right, just look.
Uncle Jed, you reckon it's all right to talk now?
I reckon so. That other fella ain't swinging.
Whomp it, Mr. DeRocher!
You'd make a great umpire.
Well, thank you, sir.
Well, I'd appreciate it very much if you'd be quiet while I'm swinging also.
Oh, yes, sir.
Beautiful shot, Leo.
Just luck.
Let's take a cart and lose those guys.
Okay, I'm with you.
Master, they're gaining on us.
Boy, if I sink this, I'll birdie the first hole.
A 40-footer? No chance.
No chance. You just watch me, kid. I got the magic touch.
My doggies, we thought we'd lost you.
Yeah, so did we.
You fixing to whomp it again?
Yeah, I'm fixing to whomp it again. Say, you fellas ever caddy before?
No, I don't reckon so.
You ever been on a golf course before?
No, sir, but we sure is anxious to learn about it.
You want to learn? Come on with me then, fella. Come on.
Say, mister, could you tell me where I might find some greens?
Well, what do you think you're standing on?
Right here?
Yeah.
My dog is somebody done cut him so close to the ground there ain't nothing left.
Any greens to eat?
Yeah, I promised Granny I'd bring her home something to cook tonight.
Say, old timer up. How long's it been since you had a decent meal?
I'd say about a week. That's when we had the last of the salted down possum belly.
Have you got the idea? Just stand there quietly and hold the pin, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
What do you mean you saved it for me?
If I hadn't have stopped it, it'd have fell right in that little hole there.
Oh, give me that ball.
Oh, take it easy, Leo. Look, these poor guys haven't eaten in a week.
Mr. DeRocher, your golf egg is stuck in the top of that tree yonder.
Well, why don't you two fellas just climb up there and get it out of there?
Ain't no call to do that. Jethro can knock it out for you if we can find something for him to throw.
You mean you can knock that little ball out the top of that tree?
Well, easy if I could find a rock or something.
Never mind a rock. Here, use this.
Hey, Uncle Jed, it's another one of them big eggs.
Hey, could you hit that golf ball up in that tree?
Hit it? I can't even see it. I'll knock it down for you, Mr. DeRocher.
Okay. Where'd you learn to throw like that?
Hunting squirrels.
Jethro can knock a squirrel out of a tree clean across his pasture.
Can you throw like that in the level? What you mean? Well, could you hit the trunk of that little tree over there? Whoa. You mean the one with the knothole in it? Knothole? Oh, yeah, that's the one.
I reckon so. If he can hit that trunk from this distance, he's got the greatest arm since Satchel Paige.
I'll fling it for you, Mr. DeRocher. Okay. I'll put it right in the knothole.
How long can you throw like that?
Well, after about 8 or 10 hours, my arm kind of stiffens up, so I have to start throwing with my left. I can throw harder with my right, but my left don't get tired so quick.
Why are you running? Keep right on going to San Francisco.
Here you are, Granny. Oh, that's a good girl.
Granny, Ellie Mae, wait till you hear the news.
Get my greens?
No, but...
Get some golfs?
No, but...
I got some of their eggs, Granny. Look at here.
Kind of hard.
Shells, yes, but maybe they soft inside.
Too hard to crack. I'll have to boil them.
Now, Granny, you come on over here and listen to the news. You too, Ellie Mae.
Well, what is it, Paul?
This boy here is going to be a baseball thrower.
What's a baseball thrower?
That's a feller that throws a baseball.
What's a baseball?
This here is a baseball. They play a game with these things.
Well, how do you play it, Paul?
Well, far as I can figure, you get one of them golf eggs stuck in the top of a tree, and then you knock it out with this here baseball.
Yeah, and then if you knock it down, you get to throw the baseball through a knothole.
That sounds like fun. Can I play, too?
Well, now, Ellie, I don't know.
Well, I can throw just as good as Jethro.
Yeah, you can.
She can't either.
Can too!
Now, listen. Now, wait a minute. Let's let Mr. DeRocher decide. He's coming over here in a few minutes with something called a contract for Jethro.
Well, I want one of them contracts, too.
Oh, wait. Let's just sit here and wait for Mr. DeRocher.
I thought you said this Jethro was a poor boy.
They must be the caretakers here. They're so poor, I know they haven't eaten in a week.
And he still threw the ball that good.
And fast. If we feed this boy, we're going to have a gorilla to catch it.
They work for bananas. And I think O'Malley would love it.
No, he wouldn't.
Well, Mr. DeRocher.
Mr. Clampett, I want you to meet our general manager, Mr. Bavasi.
Well, howdy. Come in.
In baseball, a pitcher is a feller that throws that there ball.
Well, what do you throw it at, Jethro?
You throw it at a plate.
Bust the plate?
No, Ellie. This kind of plate is made out of wood or something, and it sets in the ground.
Well, you wouldn't get me to eat off of it.
You don't eat off of it, Granny. A feller stands beside it holding a bat.
Bat? Sounds like a game you play in a cave. How do you hold the bat? There's only one way, Ellie. You have to catch that varmint by the end of its wings. and spread eagle him so he can't bite you.
No, Granny.
Have you ever been bat bit?
I am, but...
Now, don't tell me about bat biting, boy. I was bat bit before you was born.
These bats don't bite, Granny. They's made out of wood.
Wood bats?
Yes, ma'am. And you don't play baseball in a cave, neither. You play it on a diamond.
A diamond?
Yes, ma'am.
Who told you all this, boy?
Mr. DeRocher.
And you swallowed it.
Well, Granny, he's a coach.
He might be a coach, but if you ask me, he's got a few horses missing.
Going out to see me in town, everybody. Mr. DeRocher's there. You got a fella with him named Bub Acey.
Who's he, Paul?
Well, he's the general manager of them Dodgers. Mr. DeRocher calls him Buzzy.
Well, if you ask me, Mr. DeRocher is the one that's buzzy.
Are you coming, Granny?
No. I'm gonna stay here and do something sensible. I'm gonna boil these golf eggs.
You mean to say this entire estate belongs to you?
Sure does.
It's bigger than Dodger Stadium.
Jethro, show Mr. Bavasi how you can throw a baseball.
Oh, just a minute, Leo. These people are pretty prosperous. Let's find out how much money he's gonna want.
Money?
Shucks, no, Mr. Bavasi. I don't want no money. I just throw for the fun of it.
Oh, Mally will love you.
Look, Jethro, get back over there about 60 feet. You know, right this side of that wall there, and throw the ball.
Well, there ain't no knotholes around here.
Just pretend that this is a knothole right here, and throw it right in this pocket.
Okay, Mr. DeRocher.
Think you're gonna hurt your hand, Mr. DeRocher?
Not with this mitt on. Watch this, Buzzy. Okay, Jethro. Right in the old knothole. Let's show him the kind of stuff you got.
Looks like he carries his own rosin bag.
Ready, Mr. DeRocher?
Mr. DeRocher.
Mr. Rocher, look!
You all right?
I'm sorry, Mr. Bavasi. I held back, but I reckon not enough.
Jethro, coaches we got. Pitches we need. What's all that grease on your hand?
Oh, that there's possum fat. I can't throw straight tall unless I put that on my hands first.
You're kidding.
No, sir. I've been throwing rocks like that since I was this high. Now I can't throw nothing that ain't smeared with possum fat.
Did I hear that right?
You sure did. He can't throw anything that isn't smeared with possum fat.
Look, Buzzy, maybe we can get the commissioner to legalize the possum ball. So long.
Well, where are you going, Mr. DeRocher?
To drown myself.
Oh, Larry will love you.
I never seen a feller so fond of water as that Mr. DeRocher.
Yes, sir, Mr. O'Malley. I'll catch the 5:30 plane to San Francisco. No, don't worry. I won't let that Weston kid sign with the Giants. Bring him back or what? Off the Golden Gate Bridge? But I just got out of the water. Yes, sir. Goodbye.
Gee.
Here you are, Mr. DeRocher.
Well,
This soup will warm you up.
Here, have a piece of Granny's cornbread and put hair on your chest.
Yeah. Will it put anything up here?
Hey, it's kind of sparse, ain't it?
Sparse. I've seen more hair grow on a hog's liver.
Hey, this is pretty good. Chicken, isn't it?
You didn't miss it much. Chicken hog. Would you like a golf egg?
A what?
A boiled golf egg. Boiling them made them kind of rubbery. And that yolk is black as coal. Maybe put a lot of salt on it. That'll fix them up fast.
Oh. Thanks, I'm not hungry. You suppose my clothes are dry yet?
Well, they ought to be. Jethro and Ellie Mae is running around the block trailing them in the breeze.
Here you are, Mr. DeRocher.
Bone dry.
Well, thanks a million. Say, Jethro, are you sure that you can't throw without possum fat?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm positive.
I can throw as good as Jethro without possum fat.
She sure can.
Ellie Mae can outthrow anybody.
Oh, yes, sir. She's got plenty of stuff.
Yeah. We could never hide it under a Dodger uniform.
You come on outside and I'll show you.
Well, I got an hour before my plane. Don't mind if I do play a little catch. All right, Ellie. Aim
Here.
Voice be low and sweet. Listen to the gypsy's warning. Gentle lady, trust him not. Gentle lady, trust him not. A gentle lady, trust him not.
Excuse me, Granny, I'm going to the store. Is there anything you need?
I'll check my supplies whilst you string these beans.
That's women's work.
What'd you say?
I said stringing beans is women's work.
It's anybody's work. I tells them to do it.
Well, I ain't gonna do it.
Jethro, that's the first time you've ever talked back to Granny. And it's the last. Now you go out and cut me a hickory switch and meet me in the woodshed.
We ain't got no hickory tree. No woodshed neither.
That's the truth, ain't it?
Yeah. Hey, now, what'd you want to go and do that for?
Now, do you want to string beans or do you want to stand up for your meals for the next few days?
I want to string beans.
I'll do it. Let's see what I got here. 1 deviled hawk eggs, 2 pickled pawpaws, 3 harmony grits, and 1 salted down hog jowls, 1 sack of salt, 1 sack of sugar, and 1 sack of dried beans, 1 skunk, 1 skunk.
Here, Charlie.
Ellie Mae, is Charlie a critter about this size with a white streak down his back?
Here, Granny, you see me?
He's in that cabinet over there. Now you go over there and get him out.
Come on, Charlie. He likes to crawl in dark places and snooze.
Ellie Mae, I never said nothing when you drug home 14 dogs, 3 cats, a rooster, and a duck, and a baby lion, and a brace of goats. But my dingies, I ain't gonna hold still for skunks.
Granny, you scaring him.
What do you suppose he done to me? I've looked at many a sack of beans, but it's the first one that ever looked back at me.
Sorry, Granny, but I got him to help old Duke.
How's he gonna do that?
Well, Pa says old Duke was a-losing his smeller. He can't trail nothing no more. So I figured if he could sniff any trail, it'd be Charlie's.
Yeah, your pa's been quite worried here lately about old Duke's nose going bad on him.
A raccoon is your favorite. Come on, get him, boy. Now, come on, get him, boy. Train him. Train him. Get him, boy. Get that old raccoon. Come on. Come on. He's kicking dirt in your face. You ain't gonna stand for that, are you? Sure is a pitiful thing, Duke. Have a nose that big and not have it working.
Pa? Pa, is old Duke any better?
Really, honey? There's a dog used to be able to trail a butterfly through a swamp after a rain. Now he couldn't smell cabbage cooking.
I got something here I'll bet you can smell. He won't do nothing, Pa. He likes me.
Yeah, well, how's he feel about me?
Charlie, this here's my Pa. Now, you be nice to him. And this here is old Duke. You let him get a good whip, and then he's gonna trail you.
Now, Charlie, it's all in fun. No hard feelings.
Maybe he caught you cold, Pa, and got his nose stopped up.
Either that or he just don't give a hoot.
He looks worried.
Well, maybe all hounds look worried. But I have noticed him looking over at the Drysdale place every now and then, kind of whimpering.
Bet you he misses Cotton Patch.
Who?
The white poodle Mrs. Drysdale brought over from France to marry up with her poodle.
Oh, yeah.
She's in the hospital. Been there a couple of weeks or so. I reckon that's why Duke's a pining.
Duke, you just have to get her off your mind. She belongs to somebody else.
Oh, Duke, don't cry.
Jed! Uncle Jed, look what was in the mailbox for you. Come all the way from Paris, France.
For me?
Says right on it, Monsieur J.D. Clampetts. Hey, I'll bet you that's from that pretty French lady.
The one who brought Cotton Patch over.
Yeah, the one you was courting and sparking.
What are you talking about, courting and sparking?
Well, you shaved for her, and in the middle of the day.
You slickered down your hair with smell.
Yeah, and you shined your shoes, and it weren't even Sunday.
You put on your swallowtail coat and your courting derby.
And then you went right on over to...
You too young and got some chores to do or something?
No, Pop.
Why don't you open that up and see what that pretty French lady sent you?
Probably ain't from her at all. Probably just some catalog.
From Paris, France?
Ellie, why don't you go out and help Granny and take Charlie back where you found him? Jethro, you take Duke for a run through the hills. Do you both good.
Well, where are you going, Uncle Jed?
You just take care of Duke, I'll take care of me.
Come on, Duke. Uncle Jed wants me to take you for a run. Duke, you can't run unless you get to your feet. But come on, Duke. Try to get both ends up at once.
Jethro, run me over to Mr. Drysdale's bank.
Okay, Uncle Jed. I can run you a heap easier than I can run old Duke.
Wait a minute. I mean, run me down in a truck.
Oh. Oh, all right. I'll go fetch you.
One of these days, I gotta have a long talk with that boy.
I talked to the doctor at the hospital, and he said Claude's wife and babies can come home today. Isn't it exciting? Aren't you thrilled?
Beyond description.
Claude is the father of quintuplets. Aren't you proud of him, Milburn?
Margaret, it is not unusual for a dog litter to number 12 or even more.
Why must you always belittle Claude? You know how sensitive he is.
Oh, I'm sorry, Claude. Good show. Congratulations. Now, I've got a lot of work to do, Margaret.
You certainly have. We want you to help pick 5 baby names. 3 boys and 2 girls. We want your suggestions.
Well, my first suggestion is for you to go home and do it. I've got a bank to run.
Bank. That's all your dad'ums talks about.
Now, of course, the first boy should be Claude Jr., and the first girl should be Claudette. Claude wanted to name one of the boys after his dad'ums, but Milburn just doesn't sound French.
Hallelujah.
Let's all sit down, and we can go over my list of names. Claude, you can lie down. Poor darling. He's a nervous wreck. He's chewed his nails right down to the paw.
Well, I'm going to be doing a little nail chewing myself if all this is over.
Isn't it exciting?
Oh, Mademoiselle Denise.
She said she's going to send me a picture.
Such a beautiful woman. So sweet and so charming.
Funny thing about her, I couldn't understand a word she was saying, but I sure did like the way she was saying them.
Shall I read the letter to you?
Yes, ma'am, but not too loud.
Cher Monsieur Clampett, dear Mr. Clampett, here is the photograph I promised. I shall be coming to Beverly Hills again very soon now, and I hope that I may take one of you back to Paris with me.
Well, I wonder which one of us she's going to take. Be a treat for Granny.
No, Mr. Clampett, she means a photograph of you.
Oh, I don't think I got none.
Leave that to me. It's easily arranged. I read on. Mrs. Drysdale has cabled me that Colette is expecting and has invited me to come and take my pick of the litter of puppies. I am looking forward to seeing you then. Sincere best wishes, your friend, Mademoiselle Denise Bouchard.
Doggies. Sure is handy to understand that foreign writing and talking. Reckon you could learn me?
Well, yes, in time.
Today?
I could give you a lesson at noon.
How long would it take?
Oh, an hour.
Hour? That ain't bad.
Well, I'll tell Mr. Drysdale and be right over.
Thank you.
Come in.
Sure is gonna be nice talking fern with you.
How do you do? It is good to see you again. Thank you. I am fine. How do you do? It is good to see you again. I am fine.
Who you talking to?
Bonjour, madame. Quel plaisir de vous voir. Merci beaucoup. Je vais bien.
Oh, you're that foreign-speaking lady that Jed got all frizzled up over. Come on in. Yeah, sure nice to see you again.
Ah oui. How do you do? It is...
Just fine, thanks. How are you?
How do you do? It is...
Just fine, thank you. How are you?
How do you do?
I don't know whether you don't hear me or you don't believe me.
Granny, you want me to... Oh, howdy, ma'am. Nice to see you again. How are you?
How do you do?
Oh, just as frisky as a flea on a fat dog. Thank you.
Don't do no good to tell her. She'll only ask you again.
How do you do? It,
See what I mean? She's kind of rattled. Better take her out to the kitchen and give her some coffee.
Ah, coffee. Bon.
Well, I reckon she could scare you up a bone. Wouldn't you rather have a donut?
How do you do?
Get that coffee, quick.
Granny?
Jed, you got company.
Who?
That beautiful foreign lady that you were so sweet on. From Paris.
She here already?
In the kitchen having coffee.
Doggone, another hour and I'd have had my French lesson.
Where you going?
Going up to wash my hands.
Hey, Uncle Jed, you done changed again in the middle of the day. Hey, young maid, Granny, come on in, see Uncle Jed.
Your brain was as big as your mouth, you'd be teaching school instead of going to it.
Paul, you done slickered your hair down again. And put smellum on it, too. And shined your shoes.
You better be quieting down, Ellie, or you're going to get a mouthful of hat.
Monsieur Clampetts.
Oh, howdy there, Miss Denise. You look as pretty as a bag full of striped candy.
Je suis si content de vous revoir. Je pensais constamment à vous à Paris. Je souhaite que vous ayez reçu de mes nouvelles avec ma photographie. J'attendrai avec plaisir et impatience d'avoir votre photo signée de votre main et que je garderai toujours près de moi.
Just my luck. Another hour and I'd have been able to understand every word she said.
Margaret, this was my den, and you said I could have it back.
All right, dear. If you'd rather I add a new wing to the house.
Ah, never mind. I'll keep on using the basement.
Well, then, isn't it cunning?
Where are the puppies?
They're with their mumsy-wumsy.
I'm surprised you didn't hire a baby nurse.
Oh, I must speak to the poodle pediatrician about that. Melbourne, this is going to be the most thrilling moment. Our first look at our first grandchildren.
Will you please stop calling them that? They are dogs. Now, let's have our look so I can get back to the bank.
Oh, but wait, dear. Don't forget your mask.
What? For heaven's sake.
Oh! It's that hillbilly beast. Shoo! Scat! You mongrel!
Margaret, something tells me you closed that window a couple of months too late.
Oh, Milton, how are we going to break this to Claude? He's already in analysis.
Now, try again, Mr. Clampett.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Once more.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Good. Now, what does that mean?
Open the window?
No, that is ouvrez la fenêtre.
The pen of my aunt.
No, that is la plume de ma tante. Bonjour, mon ami is good day, my friend.
Oh, that's right. How long have we been at this French lesson?
Oh, about 55 minutes.
And you say it takes an hour?
That's right.
Well, them last 5 minutes must be doozies.
Now let's take Je t'aime.
Je t'aime.
Good. Now, what does that mean?
Let's see now. The pencil box?
Mr. Clampett, I love you.
Well, thank you, ma'am, but since we only got 5 minutes left, maybe we better stick to business.
I think that will be enough for today. Where is Mademoiselle Denise?
Oh, Ellie Mae took her down to the cement pond to meet her critters. Bonjour, mon ami.
Excellent, excellent.
Oh, howdy, you furry little barman.
Well, if that's French, we've been talking it for years.
I rather imagine she learned that from listening to Ellie Mae.
Jed! Miss Drysdale's here, and she's squawking like a 2-pound chicken laying a 3-pound egg.
There you are, Mademoiselle Denise. You may take this wanton hussy back to the streets of Paris, where she belongs.
What, Mrs. Drysdale?
Milburn, show them why.
Oh, quel bébé précieux. Monsieur Duc, je pensais que vous êtes le papa.
Duke, there sure enough is a family resemblance.
He's as guilty as sin. Claude will be over later to demand satisfaction and to wreak vengeance on this mongrel.
If that means he's going to tangle with Duke here, I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen this old hound dog hold his own with a bobcat.
And as we're calling him a mongrel, the bloodhound happens to have much more ancient lineage than the French poodle.
Milburn, are you going to tolerate this insult?
Why not? I'm not a French poodle.
Miss Drysdale, does all this talking mean we can keep these here puppies?
And this shameless canine coquette. Come, Milburn. It's time for Claude's tranquilizer.
Well, is everybody staying for supper?
Well, Granny, I kind of figured that Miss Denise being so far from home and all, that she might want to eat supper out at one of them French eating places.
Well, good. If that's what she wants, let her go. How many of us does that leave?
Well, you don't understand. I'd be going with her.
Well, cooking ain't good enough for you, huh?
Granny, it ain't that. It's just I'd like to spend a little time with her alone.
Oh? Well, why didn't you say so?
Miss Hathaway, would you please ask Miss Denise if she'd allow me to take her out for victuals?
Certainly. Monsieur Clampett, voudrez-vous inviter à dîner?
Enchanté, monsieur. Je serai charmé et honoré.
Something tells me that meant yes.
Well, we're ready.
We?
Yes, you'll need an interpreter.
Well,
Mr. Clampett, if you're thinking three's a crowd, you're right. But I have taken care of that. Jethro?
Attendez.
Hey, Uncle Jed, Miss Jane says we's going to double date.
Well, that wasn't exactly the way I planned.
Mr. Clampett, I told Jethro that if you went out tonight, it would be a double date.
Oh, well, in that case, I can't let you break your promise. Double date it'll be. Well, ma'am, we didn't talk much, but I can't remember when I've had a better time. How'd you like it?
Well, Dougie.
How about you two in the back seat? You enjoyed a double date?